So I remember when I was in high school that I wanted to start my own online business, right? And this was basically a dream that I had for some time. And based on the people that I was following, that was the route that I wanted to go, right? And I knew I didn't want to go to college. I knew I didn't want to do all of that shit, right? So around me were people that were supportive, and there were also other people that were not so supportive, right? That really wanted to see me go to school and just do whatever they thought was best for me, right? And some people had good intentions, some didn't, right? Nonetheless, I wanted to share with you guys how I made my very first 10 grand, 10,000 US dollars online. So I was 17 years old working in this sneaker store, right? And it wasn't just a regular sneaker store. This was a sneaker resale store, right? So they would basically take limited shoes like we're all familiar with, right? Nikes, Yeezys, all that good stuff, Jordans, and they would resell them for a profit, right? And this was the store that I worked in. This was a pretty cool job for being in high school. What they would do is they would buy the shoes from elsewhere, then they would bring them to the store, and then we would sell them. Now, my position in that was just a regular sales associate, right? That's how I started off. And like I said, it was a pretty cool first job for basically a kid, right? So when I was working there, I was actually not only doing sales associate work, right? Just regular on the floor sales. This location was in a mall, by the way. So I was just dealing with customers all day. But I was also managing the social media, right? As a collective of a group of the people that were working there, we were all kind of managing it all together. So essentially what I was doing was I was building up the necessary skills to go ahead and manage social medias for not only this business, but also my own and also other businesses, right? Most importantly. I didn't know that at the time. However, that's what I do know now looking back on it. Being that I was spending pretty much all day, right, taking social media posts. I mean, we were making about 5 or 6 posts a day on the account. I was just garnering a lot of skills, right, that related to that field. So I ended up leaving that job, right? I ended up leaving them roughly a year after I had started working there. But the cool part is in that year, I actually learned a lot of valuable skills, like I said, right, when it came to social media. And I had a much better understanding of what social media consisted of and exactly what posts and what type of engagement and things like that would not only garner more attention, but most importantly, result in money. So I took that same skill set, and what I decided to do was I decided to apply it to other businesses, right? Around a year later, I ended up getting into real estate, right? So I ended up going into the real estate field, and in the real estate field, I did the same exact thing. So I became a sales associate or a real estate salesperson here in New York, and I was working for a brokerage at the time. So what I was able to do within that brokerage was put myself in a position where I was managing all of their social media activity, right? So all of like the Facebook, Instagram, any of the other social medias that they were on, I was going ahead and I was managing that, right? Now this is when I first started all this, right? So I didn't really know like how to charge, how to price, and how to do all that stuff, right? I just knew that I could make posts on social media and I could make money because other people did not know how to do that, right? So that was really my first taste of going and doing this for another business that I wasn't necessarily already a part of, right? I really only stayed in that sales role within the real estate company for a very short period of time before I leveled up to that role of managing their social media. So this was really like the first business that I was working for that I was getting a retainer from, right? So at the time, I didn't necessarily look at them as my client. I looked at them more as the business that I was working for, right? The company that I was with. So at the time, I didn't really see this real estate company as like a client of mine, right? I looked at them more as the company that I was working for. And this was the skill set, right? And the business model, I guess you could say, that ended up making me my first $10,000 online, because this entire thing was online, right? This entire business of mine, right? This small, very, very small business of mine was online, right? I didn't actually need to go anywhere to do it. So what I was doing was I would take the photos and all the creatives that they already had, and then I would make them into social media posts, and then I would post them, right? So the cool part about this business model is it doesn't really take a lot of skills, right? It doesn't really take many skills at all, right? You just need to know how to use social media. You need to understand the rough workings, right, of how the different communities on it work, and how Facebook pages work and things like that, and the best places to target, right, the best type of content to make for the audience that you're looking to attract. And then you need to find business owners that are not as inclined or are too busy to post on their own social media, right? So this doesn't mean that you need to necessarily know them in person, right? You can manage a social media for a company that's 3,000 miles away from you, and you could still do it, right? Now, that doesn't apply to every single business. There's some of them where you will need to be there in person to go ahead and take some photos or take some videos or whatever it is, and you can get as creative as you want. However, it is, in my opinion, the best business model for someone to start if they've never made any money online and they're looking to just get into it, get their foot in the door, and be able to start making money almost immediately, right? So with that being said, I make this video to say that I'm not here to try to sell you guys on some course. I'm not here to try to gain some clout points or whatever it is, because I honestly don't even think that I have done anything crazy just yet, right? I feel like life is just getting started, and I'm just here to document my journey. But what I hope that this video can do is I hope that it can inspire you and let you understand that the possibilities are out there, right? If I never believed in myself, if I never believed that I could achieve that goal that I wanted to achieve, right? If I never saw myself as the type of person that would have the type of habits to put myself in that position, then I would have never gotten there, right? So coming from somebody that was at a point where he didn't believe that he could do that, I hope that I inspire somebody to change their mind about themselves and see themselves in a much better light and understand that it is possible. So with that being said, hope that you guys liked the video. Feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And if you guys haven't already, feel free to follow me on Instagram down in the description. Peace.